Now our story continues. Tonight, Randy Lane had been sitting on the porch steps talking with Lefty Larkin, Aunt Mary's old friend and helper. They had been joined by Peggy, who had talked with them a while, and had then had to leave to entertain her guests, the Mariota Scaries. Peggy had been preoccupied all evening as she and her husband, Bill Meade, visited with their friends. She couldn't get something out of her mind, something her cousin Randy had said. But now the Descaries have left, and Bill has gone back to some paperwork that the Descaries' arrival had interrupted. And Peggy, having seen a light in Aunt Mary's living room, has run over to the larger house and has just entered Aunt Mary's front door.
Aunt Mary? In here, dear. Are you still mending? Randy said you started right after dinner.
Oh, I haven't been at it all the time. Randy and I talked quite a bit before he went up to his room.
Has he gone to bed?
He seemed tired, although he may be working on a real estate deal he said he wants to present tomorrow. And Lefty's in the tool shed. Said something about a spade handle he wanted to replace.
Mm-hmm. Aunt Mary.
Yes?
I've been thinking about this all evening. Just couldn't get it out of my mind. I don't know what the Descaries must have thought of me. I couldn't keep my attention on anything they were saying.
Sounds serious. Also sounds as if you'd been a little rude.
Well, I don't really think it was that bad. Aunt Mary, has Randy said anything to you about the idea he has for a new subdivision here in Wakefield?
Why, no, dear. That's a new one to me.
It is new. He said something about it, although I don't think he's considered it very seriously.
A new subdivision? It sounds a little ambitious to me.
But, Aunt Mary, it's a wonderful idea. It's just what Wakefield needs.
Well, perhaps it does.
Well,
but
don't you remember how Bill and I looked all over town for a place to live before we were married? You remember what the situation was then. And since then, it's even become worse instead of better.
Yes, child. There's no doubt that Wakefield needs some new houses. But a subdivision, doesn't that mean new streets, new sewers, water pipes, electric lines?
Yes, I suppose so.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
All those things cost money, Peggy. A great deal of money.
Yes, I know. And of course, we don't have enough to even begin a big undertaking like that. But don't you think Randy could start on a much smaller scale?
I'm sure. I don't think I quite know what you mean, dear. Have you talked this over with Randy?
Mm-hmm. Well, a little. But I wanted to talk it over with you first. After all, it's kind of a woman's idea.
I see. Well, go ahead and tell me about it.
Well, naturally, I know we don't begin to have the kind of money it would take to do what Randy has in mind. But here's the idea. Suppose Randy could build just one house to begin with, like a model house. You know, put it in a place where there's lots of space around, where there'd be room for a little neighborhood to grow. Then he could sell that house, make a little profit, perhaps enough to start another house, or even two houses this time, maybe. Then he could build these right next to the first one. See what I mean?
Your idea is to start with one house and add to it until there was a sort of community of houses. Is that right?
Yes.
Well, dear, does it have to be a separate little community? Something apart from Wakefield? Couldn't it be right in the town? There's still plenty of vacant lots, you know.
Yes, I know, but Randy wants to do something kind of spectacular. Something that will attract attention to himself and to the Lane Realty Company. You know, something that'll really make people sit up and take notice.
Yes, I know, child. Ben Calvert's had the real estate business to himself so long. It's almost a monopoly.
That's right. And I know that people would be glad to do business with Randy if they only knew that he was interested in people's welfare, that he was trying to do something for the town, trying to improve it.
Well, child, it's an idea that certainly deserves some consideration.
Sure it does.
Well, dear, why don't we all think about it for a while?
Oh, would you, Aunt Mary? I just know we can work it out some way. And I know just the kind of house we can build. You know how I've been saving articles and pictures about houses. I showed you how I have them all filed. I have an idea for just a dream of a house. In fact, that's what I call it, my dream house.
Are you still talking about that dream house?
Lefty, I didn't hear you come in.
No wonder the way you were going on about your dream house. Has she been telling you about her wonderful idea to make Randy a success, Aunt Mary?
Yes, she has, Lefty.
And it might interest you to know that Aunt Mary agrees with me.
Now, Peggy, I didn't go so far as to say that. I said that we should think about it.
Well, if you'll think about it, Aunt Mary, that's good enough for me. Whatever you put your mind to... Oh, my goodness, look at the time. Bill will think I'm lost.
Oh, I guess your husband will have a pretty good idea where you are.
Well, anyway, I have to run. See you tomorrow. I'll have to talk to you some more then, Aunt Mary.
All right, dear.
Good night.
Good night.
Night, sweetheart.
Sit down, Lefty. Visit a while.
All right, Aunt Mary. I don't know why you don't use this chair. It's much more comfortable.
That's your chair, Lefty. Besides, the straight back is better when you're working.
You must have had quite a lot of mending. Randy said you were at it right after dinner.
Mm-hmm. Did you get your spade handle fixed?
Yep. All ready for tomorrow.
Go ahead and smoke, Lefty. I don't mind.
Well, thanks, Aunt Mary. I'll have to clean this old corn cob out. It's getting pretty strong. Peggy's all steamed up about her idea for building a model home, isn't she?
What do you think of it, Lefty?
It might work. Although I suspect, as Randy says, that it'd be a little hard to swing financially. How'd Randy feel about it? Did he talk to you?
Oh, he mentioned it, but I didn't tell Peggy that because I doubt that he's taking it too seriously. He was amused more at Peggy's enthusiasm than anything else.
Where is he?
Up in his room. Working, I think.
Yeah, he's been working pretty hard lately. Has he said anything to you recently?
About what?
About his plans for the future?
I can't remember anything in particular. Why?
Well, he said something tonight when we were talking. It had me wondering all evening.
What was that, Lefty?
Something about... Well, we were talking about the future, and he said something about wanting to be independent. Something about getting married. I sort of asked him if he had anyone in mind, and he said... let's see if I can remember just how he put it. He wondered if the thing he wanted to do would work out with the thing he had to do.
Yes?
Well, that's all. He didn't say anything more. I thought perhaps you'd know what he meant.
I think I do, Lefty.
You don't want to tell me what it is, I suppose.
It isn't that. It's just that I'm not sure that I'm right. I think he was talking about Kit Calvert. He's still confused about her.
That's what I thought. Well, Aunt Mary, you were over to the prison to see her. What did you think? Has she changed, as Randy says?
I'm not sure, Lefty. We talked quite a while, and Kit said a good many things to make me think that she's changed, but... Well, I don't know.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, Lefty, I had the feeling that she wanted me to think she'd changed. She said she was sorry. She was humble. She wanted to be good. But she still seemed to be very much like the Kit Calvert we've always known.
Does Randy know how you feel?
No, Lefty. He has so much faith in Kit, and after all, I can't be sure that I'm right.
But holy smoke, Aunt Mary, if she's anything like she used to be, you don't want Randy mixed up with her.
Yes, that's true, Lefty. But on the other hand, I'm not sure she is. And I don't know how to make sure.
Yeah, I know how you feel. I wonder if that doctor over at the hospital where Kit was could tell us. What's his name now?
Dr. Laraby.
Yeah, that's right. Wouldn't he be able to give you some pretty good idea about Kit? He treated her all the time she was sick.
He should know if anyone does.
Why don't you go over and have a talk with him?
I'd like to, Lefty, but... Lefty, did Randy say anything that... Well, do you think there's anything between Kit and him?
I can't be sure, Aunt Mary, but I will say he's acting an awful lot like there was.
If I could only be sure. I'd feel so much freer to speak my mind if I only knew how much Randy's emotions were involved.
Yeah. If he's simply sorry for Kit and wants to help her, that's one thing. But if he's... Well...
Lefty, I'm going to see Dr. Laraby. If nothing else, it will make me feel better. And perhaps he'll be able to tell me if I'm right in thinking that Kit hasn't changed.
But will you feel better, Aunt Mary? Right now, Dr. Whitney of the Three Falls Prison for Women is phoning Dr. Laraby. Dr. Whitney seemed to be suspicious of Kit's motives when he interviewed her. Seemed to feel that she was a selfish, conniving woman. When Dr. Laraby learns this, Aunt Mary, will he then have to confirm your own fears concerning Kit?